felt like it would be really interesting to have an opportunity to display the Miami Jewish through a music festival, through the diversity of musical styles that are resident here by virtue of the fact that musicians are living here, having, landed here from other places around the country in general, through the larger timeless Jewish diaspora, how our music has been influenced from all of the places that we have moved through as a culture, and how incredibly vast those cultures can be.
Father is Cuban, not Jewish, and my mother is Jewish from Turkish descent. My grandparents came from Turkey to Cuba at the beginning of the 20th century. And everything blends, and music-wise, it's great. I love performing both musics, both the Cuban and the Jewish music, and in this case, the Sephardic music.
Do you have children?
I have stepchildren and grandchildren.
And how do you pass this tradition and the music of both cultures on to them?
Well, I try. In our holidays at home, I try to always bring the music to the table when we do our singing. In Passover, for example, I went to a Jewish school and we mostly did Ashkenazi tunes, but I also do some Sephardic songs at the Passover table, so they can also hear that part.
Miami, in general, is in and of itself an extension of Latin America, the gateway to Latin America, in a way that, California is not, and Texas is not, and Colorado is not. As a result of that, I think it's true. We do have a possibly more dense Latin Jewish population than any other place in the country, and possibly in the world, because you can go to Latin America and obviously experience Latin Jewish culture, but you're not necessarily going to experience a diversity within that. You can go to Colombia and integrate yourself into Colombian Jewish community, but you're not going to also be surrounded by Cuban Jews and Jews who come from Venezuela. So Miami really is truly that melting pot for Latin Jews, and also for Jews from all over the world and all over the country.
The klezmer music tradition is really a very old tradition that dates back to maybe 800, 1,000, 2,000 years. We're not quite sure, but it's evolved over the years, and it really is about celebrating life, celebrating marriage, celebrating anything. It's like one big party. Klezmer music is like for one big party.
So we just saw something that I'm pretty sure you can only see in Miami. Up on stage here at Temple Israel, there was a flamenco dancer, a klezmer band, including an electric violin. This is an amazing mix of cultures, instruments, musical backgrounds, and here we have the violinist and the clarinetist, and the clarinet and sax. Oh, fantastic. And Alex, maybe you could tell me how this all came together, how you all met and decided to work with a flamenco dancer.
Well, first of all, we started about 20 years ago with band leader. His name was Simon Schultz. He passed away a few years ago. He started the whole band as a heavy shtetl. Not as a heavy metal, but heavy shtetl. Shtetl means a little town in Yiddish. And a couple of years ago, I think, we did something for the city of Miami Beach together with a flamenco band. And we mixed it, we liked it, it sounded very well, and we decided to go further with that.
That's wonderful. And now you are playing a very contemporary instrument in a very traditional musical style. And how did you decide to bring the electric violin into this klezmer style of music?
Well, I tried it a few years ago as well. I always play. I'm a classical musician. I'm trained as a classical musician. I tried with a regular violin. It looked a little bit too traditional. So I decided, why shouldn't I bring the electric fiddle Sounded interesting, sounded very well, so I went with electric.
When I think of electric violin, I usually think of doing special sound effects with it, like, you know, all sorts of, there's so many rock possibilities, jazz possibilities. I never thought of old school Eastern European klezmer music, but that was fine. It's the whole point of the electric violin isn't just for special effects. It's amplified, and you get a great amplified sound out of it.
I'm here with Danit and Yariv, and we've kind of discovered a bit of a family concert going on. So I was wondering if you'd tell us first about the instrument that you're playing.
It's something called the oud, and it's from Turkey, a Middle Eastern instrument. Basically, very antique instrument, like 1,000 years ago instrument.
Oh my goodness! And how did you pick this up and start playing?
Original for me as well, so we're pretty much familiar with those instruments.
That's wonderful. And I was wondering if you could tell us the role that music plays in your family and in your family traditions.
It's everything. It's everyday life. Where kids play music, we enjoy music from the morning till night. They jam with us.
I think introducing kids to music when they're young like this, that can change their whole future and gives them a wonderful appreciation for it.
Like, I think it's really important. Obviously, I think it's super important for all of these different forms of Jewish music, all these different flavors of our culture, to be passed on to children, which is why I've always encouraged people to bring their children to this program. This year, we actually added a kids program. We added the family program specifically to draw families. They're going to remember this experience, this sort of like sonic memory. And as they get older, it will be something they can then connect to.
What I hope they leave with is kind of a song in their heart and a memory that this music is fun and that it belongs to their heritage. And that's really the most and if they leave with that memory and they talk to their friends, then we've done a pretty good thing.
Durma, querido, durma, durma, sin ansia.